What makes zero sense to you? 1. How health insurance actually works. Or how your doctor can call and check and confirm you are in network. You can call and do the same. Yet somehow when the bill comes, it's suddenly not anymore. 2. Exactly this. Or how you can go to a hospital and some of the people working there are in network but some aren't. 3. Why the fuck are anesthesiologists contractors? Hospitals should be able to afford keeping 1 or 2 on staff based on how busy they keep them. 4. Probably could, but insurance companies wouldn't like that because they'd have to pay them. 5. My childhood orthodontist had this. It was creamy in color and he wouldn't wear a mask. I spent every appointment fearing for it dropping right in my. People don't understand how insurance works. If a doctor is in network, they have to accept the lower negotiated prices from the insurance company. If they are out of network, no one regulates how much they charge. So they can collect on top of whatever the insurance company pays. That's how they get away with after billing. 6. Fingers crossed we get a single payer option in the future and these companies rightfully evaporate. 7. I have friends who are hospital doctors and such. I can't speak for everyone obviously, but a lot of doctors don't work for the hospital. Instead, they are more of a private contractor and work with multiple hospitals and they just work out of a specific few hospitals depending on their need. You typically see this in more specialized senses like cardiologists and such. In general, these people do it because they can make more money and determine their own benefits. Working as more of a consultant means you can essentially broaden your market and not be confined to a single hospital. And because they aren't a W-2 employee at said hospital, they can make their own retirement plan via a SEP or a Self 401k that is the most beneficial for them as opposed to being designed for a large business with employees in mind. Not saying it's good or bad, just giving insight into one of the reasons why this is the case. 8. I remember having a conversation with the receptionist at my PCP's office when I registered as a patient and one doctor was in network and the other wasn't. She tried arguing and saying that, but they both take your insurance. Yeah, I'm sure they do, lady, but one of them ain't in network. She goes, that doesn't make sense? Fucking tell me about it, lady. 9. My $500 case surgery was pre-approved 3 months in advance and my deductible was paid in full before we submitted for pre-approval. The last 2 months I have been battling with them to pay my bills while trying to recover from a major orthopedic surgery. They keep asking me if I have secondary insurance, if it was caused by a car accident, workman's comp claim or on someone's personal property. How many times do I have to say no? 10. Insurance company, so this was caused by a car accident, workman's comp claim or on someone's personal property. Kalo, no. Insurance company, so this was caused by a car accident, workman's comp claim or on someone's personal property. Kalo, no. Insurance company, so this wasn't caused by a car accident, workman's comp claim or on someone's personal property. Kalo, no. Insurance company, go team. 11. My son got sick and we made an appointment with his doctor for later that day. They warned us it would be out of pocket because it was a surprise visit. What the fuck does insurance even do then? Joke's on them though, we hadn't hit our huge deductible so it was going to be out of pocket anyway. 12. Next time plan your illness better. 13. American healthcare system in general makes no sense. 14. American healthcare is a subscription service for a coupon. 15. American healthcare plus insurance is like having a discount on an item that just had its price raised by the same amount. 16. It's not a healthcare system, it's a healthcare situation. 17. My sister needs a medication that costs $7,000 after insurance. Why would a pharmaceutical company charge that? No one can pay that. Don't you want to sell your product? 18. Needs. That's why. Because people need it and their answer is, fuck you, pay me. 19. American healthcare plus insurance is like having a discount on an item that just had its price raised by the same amount. It cost me $10K to fix some minor problems with my teeth. Yes, but in reality in some other countries it could only cost a few $100s. 20. It's not supposed to. 21. Health insurance lawyer here. Been in the industry 9 years and at best I learn new shit every day. At worst, the shit I already know gets turned on its head. 22. I understand how frustrating and confusing dealing with health insurance can be, especially when you've taken steps to ensure everything is in network. 23. I'm with you about insurance companies. I've been told that us insurance companies will only pay a percentage of the bill. The percentage changes depending on the service. So doctors decide what price they want for a service. Say they want $20 to remove my toenail and they know the insurance will only pay 10% of what they bill for that service. The doctor will bill them $200 so that they can receive the $20. Yet, if I walk in the door with no insurance, I won't pay $20 for that service. They will expect me to pay the $200, and if I whine about it, they might be nice and give me a wee discount. Say bill me $190. So inequitable. And note, the copay didn't fall into this scenario at all. Then you have to meet a deductible, and every time you as the patient are out cash that isn't a co-payment, some amount of that goes to the deductible, but no one knows how much because it is determined by mysterious insurance company math. Even once the deductible has been met, you seem to be out more and more out-of-pocket expenses. I was told my portion of my recent surgery was $800. I paid it. Now I'm being billed for $600 more. Why? Turns out that everyone involved in the surgery wants money. The doctor who did the surgery, the anesthesia dude, the pre-op nurses, the op nurses, the post-op folks, the hospital. Why isn't my insurance covering this? Why wasn't I told up front? When I whine about it, they tell me, well, at least your deductible is met now. What does that even mean to me as the consumer? Also, I don't understand the prior authorization thing. My doctor said I needed it. Why are you, a non-medically trained entity, questioning the doctor's decision? As you mentioned, the in-network versus out-of-network, which I think has gotten better over the years. The doctors at least refer in-network more often than they did in the past. 24. I worked for an insurance company and even I didn't understand it fully. I'd ask them to explain it and they'd say, it's in the manual. So all I could do was read off the patient's insurance manual and not explain further because it was so vague. 25. That dental and vision insurance are separate from medical insurance in the US. Stupidest system ever. 26. Canada too. What even is the point? 27. That dental and vision insurance are separate from medical insurance in the US. Stupidest system ever. 28. Headlights bright enough to prevent everybody else on the road from being able to see. 29. The legality of this baffles me. 30. I had a car yesterday where I literally had to stop and beep the horn at him to turn them down as I couldn't turn my car with his lights on. 100% blinding, no way they're legal. 31. I flicked my brights on to tell someone their brights were blinding me. My eyes were not prepared when they turned their actual brights on. 32. I don't flash my high beams at anyone anymore. I'm afraid they'll flash back and vaporize me. 33. Many people don't understand that if you convert from HID to LED, you need to replace the whole headlight and not just the bulb itself. HID headlights amplify the output due to the low intensity from the bulb. LEDs are naturally bright enough and don't require any amplification because of how efficient they are. Don't get me started on the new cars. Engineers and pragmatic solutions have never been synonymous. 34. Unfortunately, my understanding is that they are legal, because the law is based on wattage rather than light output. LEDs have a much higher output of light per a given wattage. Thus, the law needs to change to account for the new technology. 35. Those white LED headlights all newer cars seem to come with are just harsh to my eyes. I don't know how they got approved for road use. I get the feeling once everyone has them I will get in an accident at night from being blinded. 36. They also don't let your eyes adjust to darkness like the softer yellow ones do. 37. I swear I go blind anytime a car is approaching me from the other side. 38. Pursuant to the Code of Federal Regulations, CFR, luminous intensity of headlights must be between 500 and 3000 candelas. There's a growing public sentiment against blinding headlights, but the enforcement seems to be taking some time. 39. Those are the bane of my existence. 40. Why high street shops in my country mostly only open 9 to 5 when most people are also working. Why they don't open around lunchtime, say, and then close around 9 or 10 p.m. 41. This but for doctors' offices. Like, why I feel like it would make more sense to be open Saturday and take like to wed as your weekend if you are in such a business. No one is stopping you. 42. But then you wouldn't have a legitimate reason to skip work. 43. Needing 5 years of experience for an entry-level job. 44. Only the pay is entry-level. 45. Seriously. I frequently see jobs on Indeed asking for multiple years of experience and a college degree, and yet they only want to pay $45,000 a year for that position. 46. I've seen bachelor degrees and experience required for $25K. 47. On the flip side, I have seen job posting that require 30 years of experience. If I work somewhere 30 years, I am probably going to retire there. 48. I can explain that. It's an entry-level salary. They want to pay experienced people as little as possible. 49. A friend of mine is a recruiter, tech industry, and pretty much said something like this. They deliberately post job listings as entry-level with full intent of hiring someone in a senior role because they get thousands of applicants per job postings. A lot are not qualified, but a lot are also overqualified. A lot of laid-off experienced candidates are willing to work entry-level salaries just to have a job. 50. The physical size of the universe and what lies beyond. 51. Thing is, the human brain is simply incapable of thinking in that kind of size. The universe is endless, always expanding. We have no way of reaching the end, unless we find ways to trick the laws of physics, i.e., traveling light speed, and even then we'd never be able to reach the current limit. Because want me to fuck up the scale? Look up at the sky. Now, remember that every piece of light in the sky we can see is light that traveled at light speed. Us being capable of observing said light means the light source has existed long enough for the light to even travel to where we are. Basically, to reach the limit of the expanded universe right now, traveling at light speed, we'd need to travel for the same amount of years the universe itself existed. Yay. 52. Us being capable of observing said light means the light source has existed long enough for the light to even travel to where we are. While agreeing with the overall sentiment of your comment, this above statement is not necessarily true. The source of light, star, may have perished already. If a star is, to give an example, 50 light years from us, we will always see a version of it that's 50 years from the past. Even if the star dies, we will continue to see it for 50 more years because the light takes that long to reach us. 53. People wanting flying cars. With as many bad drivers as there are on the ground, why would you want that in the sky? 54. Plus people who want flying cars think they'd just be able to take off and head wherever they want. In reality, there'd likely be regulated skyways that flying cars would be required to use, meaning you'd be no better off than when you were driving on the ground. 55. Seriously. Like, I don't have a lot of good things to say about the airline industry, but the sky-high, pun intended, requirements for flight hours, training, etc. for pilots is something they are doing right. 56. Spending money to buy Reddit avatars. 57. And also buying clothing for your Bitmoji on Snapchat. 58. How a record works. You cut lines in this plastic and sounds comes out. I don't know what to do with my hands. 59. Oh, that one's easy. Sound is just what happens when stuff wiggles, right? So you take a needle and connect it to either an amplifier or just a membrane, and when it wiggles, there you go, sound. If you want different sound, just change the wiggles. How do you record the sound? Just make the membrane wiggle the needle instead of making the needle wiggle the membrane, and put a sharp tip on the needle to record the wiggles onto a blank disc. 60. Any further explanations always confuse me more. The other responses to your post are examples of this. 61. People who deny any kind of proof that discredits their weird view of the world. 62. People commonly attach their sense of self to their view of the world, irrespective of how valid their justification of that worldview is. To question or challenge their worldview is tantamount to attacking them as a person. 63. Our globoscepticism, here you go. 64. I've had to deal with so much stupid today already. For my own sanity, that link is staying blue. 65. Most of the time, their weird view of the world makes them feel safe or happy or important or special, and whatever feeling that view gives them are simply more valuable to them than having an accurate or honest view of things. It's a one-person version of the old joke about arguing with your spouse. Do you want to be right, or do you want to be happy? 66. Removing dislike button from YouTube. 67. They got bothered after the last YouTube Rewind became the most disliked video on the page. 68. Yup, this. They tried to hide their saltiness by saying it was to protect creators, or something. But in truth it's because a few videos they wanted to heavily promote got downvoted to hell. The Rewind video was the last straw. Basically their mindset is, if you hide the problem it stops existing. 69. It's infuriating. 70. How Google search gets worse every year, despite having the most talented engineers in the world. 71. Because those engineers are being pushed to make more profit and farm more data, not make it better. 72. Yep, their target goal has changed. I bet the engineering is even more impressive today than it was in the late 90s. But it's designed to maximize profit today instead of delivering quality search results. 73. It's not a bug, it's a feature. 74. Google stopped caring about being a tool used to find specific results and instead focuses on giving results that most people that searched for similar things ended up spending the most time attention on. 75. You can test by searching something no one would and Google will interpret your query into different words. 76. Why the 10th dentist doesn't recommend Crest toothpaste. 77. Because those first 9 dentists also recommend most other brands of toothpaste. But it's likely a case of, here's 30 different toothpaste brands, pick 20 you'd recommend, and that 10th dentist just didn't happen to put that one brand in their list, even though all 30 can basically be recommended. Saw a dentist talk about this on YouTube. His advice was, any toothpaste is good. Doesn't really matter if it's whitening or with extra fluoride or whatever else. As long as you use toothpaste and brush well and often it's all good. 78. How some sodas drinks have so much sugar in them. Like what would it taste like without the sugar? Does I actually need that much flavoring to mask it or do we need that much to taste something? 79. I drink regular sparkling water all the time. There's also flavored sparkling water. You could try those to get an idea what soda would taste like without sugar. 80. How cats purr. 81. IIRC. It has to do with something in their airways, a small organ that only smaller cats have as cats like lions and tigers don't purr. Cheetahs and pumas are the only exceptions. Yes, they purr and meow, it's really weird and cute. 82. Purring and roaring are mutually exclusive, so lions, tigers, leopards and jaguars are all incapable of purring, while every other cat can purr but not roar. 83. I just imagined my small orange tabby roaring at me instead of meowing for his treats, so that was wonderful. 84. I get the how but not the why. 85. Kittens are blind at birth and don't open their eyes right away. Purring is a way for mom and kittens to find each other and communicate. 86. I've had my 15-year female all-black cat since birth. I would click at her as you do to cats. I do it most times so she knows I see her. She's an absolute void, or as a greeting. It's so funny because she smacks her lips and essentially clicks at us too. She'll be sleeping in one of her beds and we'll bring her up. Oh, she's over there sleeping. Then she'll smack her lips. I'll say she's awake. She just gave her location. It's hilarious. 87. The popularity of those Stanley cups. I for the life of me cannot tell the difference between those cups and any number of other brands such as Yeti or Contigo. As far as I can tell they do not do anything better or worse or look significantly different. They seem to come out of nowhere like some sort of strange alien invasion. I am guessing that I am not the target market for this and that is okay. 88. The marketing guy that made Crocs famous went to Stanley and did the same thing. Marketing. 89. It's very strange. People and their fads. So odd. 90. I mean they're great to have. But not an entire collection. I got a Hydro Flask as a gift and I use it every day. It makes me drink a lot more water. I don't see the difference between that and a Stanley. 91. Let's be clear. There is only one Stanley Cup. 92. For a while I thought all women between the ages of 10 and 35 suddenly became giant hockey fans. 93. How the global debt is $307 trillion? Who do we owe it to? Aliens. 94. Each other? Party A is $3K debt because Party B paid for their schooling. But Party B is $100K in debt because Party C paid for their house. Everyone owes everyone. 95. Let's just cancel it and start over. 96. Cryptocurrency. 97. I'm especially confused how people can mine crypto with computers. That makes zero sense. 98. Same. I met somebody and their job was mining crypto. What does that even mean? 99. I always visualize it in the style of Minecraft. Digging deeper and deeper into the cube digital earth until they find a vein of crypto. 100. But who put the crypto there? Someone. In a digital space. put secret cryptocurrency there and then said, go mine this. 101. How turning off a computer and then back on actually is a thing that sometimes actually fixes another thing. 102. I remember one time at my part-time job, one of the registers, a PC with a program installed, stopped working. One of the delivery guys insisted that I should take a look since I did some coding, even though I told him that that had nothing to do with what I do. So, I jokingly turned it off to turn it back on again. Except that it didn't turn back on. 103. Computers run hundreds, if not thousands, of processes at once. You can even see most of them in Task Manager. And if one of them stalls or goes out of sync or whatever, it can make everything else run weirdly or not at all. Restarting makes all the processes stop and start up again, which, usually, fixes basic issues like that. 104. Restarting clears the memory where the operating system and the programs are stored while they're running and starts everything from scratch again. 105. Where I work we share a massive parking lot with a 24-hour gym. It always amazes me that people going to the gym will park their crew cab giant trucks as close as they can to the front of the very busy gym entrance. They won't park further out where there's plenty of space. They have to get right up to the door so they can presumably go inside and exercise. But parking 2 or 3 car aisles over is too far. 106. To counter this, I will never understand why when I park far away from everyone in my vehicle some nitwit will skip 20 empty spots to park right next to me at the back of the lot. 107. This. I see it at every gym to which I've ever belonged. I think to myself, instead of circling the lot forever to get a close spot, then going in and getting on the treadmill, why not park 2 miles away, run to the gym, and run back? If they do that, they could drop the gym membership for those only using the treadmill. 108. Lol. This reminds me of a realization I made during the pandemic. I have a bike I was using to commute to work for some exercise. I also sometimes went to spin class with my wife for more exercise. Pandemic happens, office closes, spin class closes, oh no, I cannot exercise. So, I buy a bike trainer, thing that you put your real bike on, turning it into a stationary bike. Eventually was like, WTF am I doing, I'll just go bike outside. 3 years later I'm in love with cycling and routinely do 30 to 60 mile rides on the weekend and 24 miles round trip to work. Why didn't someone just tell me in 2019 it's okay to ride bikes for fun? 109. A gym I went to decades ago had to move their stair climber machines down to the first floor to appease ADA requirements since they had no elevator for handicapped people. I suggested they move a few of their machines down and leave the rest of them up there, but it was against regulations. I later learned a few people had complained about having to use the stairs to get to the stair climbing machines. They had no handicaps at all. 110. Trolling and rage baiting. I really don't get the appeal of making people mad at you on purpose.